Spirit of the Past by Gabrielle Hudson, 8th grade, Douglas MacArthur's Girls Leadership Academy. Buzz. The fluorescent lights of the yellow tint office lights the cubicle. I have a new file for you. A mysterious voice reaches out to me. I started as the ghost of Christmas past about 4 years ago. The position was heinous to achieve. Ever since Ebenezer Scrooge and The Christmas Story became famous, everyone wants to be a spirit. Wayland Fitzgerald, I read aloud. I can't focus on my own thoughts, my mind racing. I trace my bony fingers across the paper. Wayland has been displaying severe hostile tendencies towards his family, according to his wife. He has been making threatening remarks. I could only wonder what occurred. I read the address and arrived at Wayland's door. The lights are off. I don't see anyone. I enter through the window and look at the gold frames around the intricate picture painted above the couple's bed. Reaching my hand out, my cold hands touch Wayland's sleeping head. In an instant, I can see his past. "Mom, please don't leave us out here. I'm cold," a young Wayland begs while his mother leaves him and his younger siblings on the curb. I walk behind the children. Knowing I can't be detected, I still can't help but walk quietly. "Where is Mom going? Is Dad coming for us?" The children question their older brother. I watch Wayland wipe his tears and lower his head. No answer, just a brief silence before all the children start to cry. After a few minutes, they curl together and fall into an intoxicating rest. I've seen enough to know what is going on. Returning to the present, I influence Wayland's current dream. According to his wife, he has not been respecting her the way he used to. Wayland comes home and trashes the house, threatening to leave them, followed by reckless behavior with his children, constantly endangering them by taking them in the car and driving recklessly. "Who are you?" Wayland says, looking me dead in the eyes. "Ghost of Christmas past. Pleased to meet you." He looks at me, dissatisfied with my introduction. "You can't be. He doesn't talk," Wayland snickers. I know he means the first ghost that talked with Scrooge, but since then, the boss requests a formal introductory statement before each experience due to lots of employees being assaulted, thinking we were criminals. "Wayland, I'm here to figure out what's wrong," I say, ignoring his comments. "Why would you? I'm leaving my family for Christmas anyways." "Was it Mary? Did she tell you her lies about me? I didn't do anything to her. She's my wife," Wayland says, lying through his coffee-stained teeth. I can tell by his swift response he has a short temper. "I'm not here to justify your actions. You need to learn what happened in your life, you know? Become a changed man," I state calmly. "Nothing happened. Mary is just crazy. I'm fine." More lies. I gesture for him to follow me as I take him to the harsh winter of 1987. I walk with Wayland down the street to the curb he grew up on, his first Christmas alone, and his first time without a comforting family. A young Wayland walks with his hood up. I notice many box-shaped bulges in the pockets. Young Wayland pulls out gifts for his siblings. "I'm sorry. It's all that would fit in my shirt without the security guard noticing," he blurts out, while his siblings look at him, eyes welling up with tears. "I was only 10, Wayland says. His tone is changing from earlier. He's less hostile. "You did what you had to. Providing for 3 children while being a child yourself is hard," I say, attempting to reach his realization. "She left us that day for a job," Wayland explains. "Right after our dad left, she had been working so hard." His eyes are tearing up. I see some emotion in his soul. "Let's go to next Christmas, just a year after this," I say. He responds with a nod. We walk down the street to a juvenile detention center. Wayland is reluctant to go in. My curiosity is getting the best of me as I begin to speak. You need to face your past to come to happiness in present, Waylon. He walks towards me and lowers his head. Fine, he blurts out, his words seeming unhuman. Instantly, there is screaming. Not enraged, but agonizing yells. I see a young Waylon, but he is on the other side of the glass in the visiting room. The guards are pulling him by his arms. Your time is up, Fitzgerald, the guard says calmly, despite Waylon's howls. His siblings are on the other side, clawing at the glass. They are sobbing. Even I feel their emotional aura. I look up at the present Waylon beside me, his face blank. How do you feel about seeing how you were? I question. But my question is led with silence. I can feel Waylon is done with me. He seems remorseful. But how much? Waylon, I need you to answer me. I don't feel anything. I was too young to remember any of it, he snaps back at me. I sigh, realizing we're back to square one. At least I know the root of his trouble. I wonder if his mother is alive. Maybe I could meet with her. Waylon, I say. My words seem to bounce off the walls. What is your mother's name? His eyes meet mine. He looks appalled. For a minute, he considers my question, but instantly looks puzzled. What do you need that for? He snaps. Curiosity? I lie. If you must know, I believe her name was Elizabeth Fitzgerald, but I don't remember. Will you leave now? I walk away from Wayland Street and look at my notes. Elizabeth Fitzgerald. The name slips away from me, coming back in a chilling wave. I recognize the name, but from where, I do not know. She is at least 20 years older than me, close to death. I must search for her. Maybe a reunion would help Waylon. I'm back in my damp cubicle the next day, searching for Elizabeth. First, I check the obituary, assuming the worst, but I find nothing of the sort. Ghost of Christmas Future's assistant John comes up behind me. What are you looking for? He says, mouthful of complimentary donuts. I'm working on a confidential client, I say, hoping he leaves. Come on, what's the deets? You don't have to hide from me. I'm sick of him. If I ignore him, maybe he'll leave. Soon enough, he walks away, but not before using my pen to sign papers, leaving glazed donut residue all over the side. Some days I wonder how some are selected. I continue my research, ignoring the bustle behind me. LinkedIn. I chuckled at the idea that it would be so easy, but sure enough, searching Elizabeth Fitzgerald shows 43 results. I must filter by something. I decide age would be the easiest. If Elizabeth was an estimated 30 when I saw her in Waylon's memory, occurring in 1987, the year is 2008. She must be... pause to do the math. About 55. By coincidence, 3 Elizabeths are 55. Sifting through, I find a woman with no children. If you abandon your kids, why would you put them in a job site? The other women have kids, but only 1 or 2. She is 55 and looks like the woman I saw the other day. I might as well contact her. Hey, Elizabeth. I see you want to be a waitress. I have an opening at my restaurant, but would love to meet you. Meet me at 3984 Seldom Avenue on Tuesday at 3 p.m. I will have me and my team to meet you to see if you're a good fit. Yours, Bartholomew. I've emailed her, but all of it is a complete lie. I hate doing that, but it comes with the job. 3984 Seldom is a coffee shop, so she shouldn't suspect a thing. We meet on Tuesday. Today is Friday. My thoughts race until the clock hits 6:30. This is the most effort I've put into a project like this. My body is taking the toll. I'm becoming bonier, but at least it's fitting for my job. After a swift weekend, I'm ready to meet with Waylon today and convince him to meet a friend of mine Tuesday. I arrive at night. After a day of research and plotting, I reach my hand out to enter his dream. I notice myself anxious to repair a broken man. Before I could even think about it more, Waylon swings at me. Go away, evil man, I hate you. Waylon displays his anger very apparent, but I need to keep calm. Waylon Fitzgerald, How would you feel if I threatened you? You need to listen to me. I'm here to help. I empathize with him. He punches a brick wall behind me, leaving pebbles falling to the floor. I have someone I want you to meet. He is a delight and should help you channel your anger. A lie. Prior to this, I was debating if I should lie to Waylon too. If I told him I talked to his mother, who knows what he could have done to me. Waylon looks puzzled. Anything to get away from Mary, lying scum woman, never washing my clothes on time, he states, rambling on about his wife who is just worried about him under his breath, stopping when my face scrunches in disgust. Even the Grim Reaper would be appalled by the disrespectful nature of the man standing right in front of me. That's all for tonight, since you want to display behavior like a feral animal. Maybe you should say goodnight to your wife, I say, a tinge of anger between each word. I can't tell why I'm so tired of this. It seems like I'm trying to help a person who just wants to be a terror. At this point, I don't care if he hates me or not. Tuesday morning hits me like a ton of bricks. Should I feel guilty? I shake the cloud off my head and go to the office. I have an email from Elizabeth. Thanks, Bartholomew! Exclamation point. ... question mark? 11? Question mark? I'll be there or eating below. Close parentheses, at, open parentheses. Wow, I can't believe my eyes. I check my pulse to see if I'm having a stroke. Surely she must be intoxicated. But at least she answered. My skin is itching due to the poor grammar and misspellings. I breathe out and finish my files from last year. My nerves are rising by the hour. Time goes heinously swiftly. The opposite of the day I worked on my grandmother's birthday. Maybe I'll ask boss for a raise after this. After I sift through my thoughts, I look at the clock. 2:34 p.m. burns into my retinas. I rush to the coffee shop. Waylon's rusted Chevy is waiting outside. He's occupied, fidgeting with the radio. Next to the street is a woman dressed in ragged clothes, and another behind her in revealing and provocative clothing. I'm pleading to myself to not believe either of them could be Elizabeth. A car beeps behind me, and hand knocks at my window. Are you Bartholomew? Elizabeth says. Her alcohol-scented breath pierces my senses. She's dressed in business casual. Presumably she drank after. Indeed. Let's meet over here to talk. My nose scrunches as she breathes through her rancid mouth. I begin to think this isn't such a good idea. Maybe I'm interfering and not being a traditional ghost. Before I could ruin the moment, Waylon walks over to me. His jet black hair is greasy, gray strands flying away. He stands above my car, banging on the top. Hurry up, face ache. I'm appalled by his disrespectful comment. His mother sits on a bench smoking a cigarette. I exit my car, closing the door slightly so Elizabeth doesn't hear. I walk Waylon past her. His eyes follow her. At this point, I know I must say something. Hello, Elizabeth. I say, nervous about Waylon. She burps at me and ashes her cigarette. Who's this handsome young man? Her words trail off. Elizabeth, this is your son, I state quickly. Mom? Elizabeth says, his words sounding like a dead body expelling the last air left. He collides his limp body with hers in a twisted hug. Who are you? Wait, I remember. Johnny, his mother spurts out, spit falling from her wrinkled face. How could you do the... Waylon begins before she interrupts. Oh, Waylon, hi, honey. Mommy missed you. The two share another hug, but more awkward. The weather is getting worse by the second as we go inside. So, Mom, why would you leave us? Waylon questions. I had to work. I didn't want to endanger you youngsters, Elizabeth says, her drunkenness wearing off. Waylon tears up, reaching in for another hug. The two share stories of what has happened in their lives. I become a spectator, but I'm glad. Mom, can you come for Christmas? Waylon says under his breath. His mom nods before tipping over a little. The touching exchange makes me cheerful. Knowing I won't be invited, I walk out to let the two talk about personal stories. Several days later, I decided to walk home past Waylon's house. It's Christmas Day at 6 p.m., so it is freezing. I look in his window, my eyes hit with wind. "Mommy, can I give this to Grandma?" A young child holds a card next to Waylon. "Of course," Mary excitedly answers. Everyone is eating a plate of food and smiling. My eyes meet Waylon. His hair is slicked back, and he is wearing a nice, sophisticated outfit, his eyes gleaming with joy. For once I'm able to feel an emotion. Pure bliss.